Welcome back to another AtoZ of AV with Command AV. Nailed it this time.
Pow.
Hey. Today we are looking at the letter W, which stands for, well, two things actually.
Wired or
Wireless. So when we say wired or wireless, or wired versus wireless, as we have it noted here, we are specifically talking about networks. So Wi-Fi networks, or the internet, as some might call it.
yeah, that's often a confusion. I have to bring this point up now. There is a massive difference. Okay, there's Wi-Fi and there's internet. So your internet can be out, but you can still have a Wi-Fi connection. That means your internet's out.
Your Wi-Fi can be out and you can still have an internet connection. Yeah, so
We're not making it any easier.
no. Internet is a service, Wi-Fi is a network. Yeah, let's go with that. And they are two immensely different things.
So your network can be down, but your Wi-Fi can be up.
Or it could all be down.
Or-
Wireless networks. Got a few questions here. Hopefully we've got some answers.
Why is wireless good?
First of all, no wires. It's wireless. You know, you can have your, be it phone, laptop, iPad.
Really useful if you're on a video call and you just want to go to a different room.
Yep, walk around, get away from screaming kids or the barking dog.
Or you're
anything
streaming
like that.
music and you'd like to go around the house hoovering and streaming
Exactly.
in headphones. Yeah.
Which also means easy coverage. So with long range Wi-Fi access points, you can cover the entirety of a garden, for instance, using a single device. So you can move anywhere in the garden and have decent Wi-Fi.
What with working from home being very popular at the moment, you know,
Yep.
working in the garden is definitely a nice thing in the summer, maybe
Yep.
in the winter. Depends what you got in the garden.
And of course the fact that you can connect many devices to one network by simply joining the wireless network with the password, or no password if there's no password set, but we don't recommend that.
Why is wireless bad?
Wireless, though good in some respects, is bad because it can be slow, because you know there's no guarantee of connection. It's a wireless connection, so you're just hoping the two devices are talking to each other at the best possible connection speed.
There's risks of interference,
Yeah.
so you can have other things knock you out.
Or if you haven't got open space, for instance, walls, doors, windows, anything that's physically in the way of a wireless signal getting from point A to point B, i.e. your device, and vice versa, that can slow things down. Also, wireless or Wi-Fi relies on wires, so you can only get a wireless signal somewhere if you can get a wired connection up to that point, with a little proviso, of course, being wireless mesh systems, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Worse above all, or worse below all, depending on how you look at it, wireless is no good for control. If we're setting up a smart home automation system, wireless connections doesn't allow us to control, say, a TV turning it on and off, or an amplifier turning that on and off.
Yeah, IP control really does require a wide connection. So
Yeah, because it needs that guarantee of connection, you know, not that hope of connection when it comes to wireless connectivity.
So we've said a little bit about wireless.
So you tell me, why is wired good?
Wired is really good because it's the opposite of wireless in a way that you've got a guaranteed connection as long as the cable isn't broken. It's a really sturdy connection. You've got the fastest possible connection to the network and then therefore to the internet, and you can get full bandwidth availability.
What about security? Well, it's more secure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wireless systems can be hacked by someone who's just within range of the wireless network. A wired network, someone needs to physically break in and connect to the network, so it's got that level of security going for it. And also with networks, obviously you've got a level of versatility there. If you've got a wide connection, it doesn't mean it's just one single network point. You can then break that out into a network switch, which can provide you more network points, which can lead to wireless points or yet more wired network points. So
So
versatility of expansion.
a good example of this, if you've got one network point behind a TV, but you've got multiple devices like an Xbox and an Apple TV and your TV.
Oh, we've done this before.
You just put a network switch in and they all share that one cable.
Then you can control things, you can provide an internet connection, and well, beyond that, that's it. It's good, it works. So tell me, why can a wired connection be bad?
The only really bad thing about a wired connection is the fact that it's nothing like a wireless connection. It's the opposite of a wireless connection. You are stuck in that one place with your device. So if you're working and you decide you want to go out into the garden, again, great if you've got on wireless, but if you're plugged in, you unplug that, you lose connection, you have to connect to the wireless. So it's good if you're going to remain in one place, but no good if you want to move. Are there any other reasons why a wired connection is bad?
In a retrofit scenario, it can be very expensive because obviously it involves chasing the walls and running cables and installing equipment that wasn't previously there. I mentioned with Wi-Fi you can connect almost unlimited number of devices to it easily. With a wired connection you're limited by the number of ports available on the network switch, and obviously whether the end device physically has a network connection. So if it's a mobile phone or a tablet or even most laptops now, they don't have wired network connections. They very much rely on Wi-Fi. Wired connections are not as adaptable in the sense that if you need to move a connection as such. With a wireless network, obviously, like I said, there was easy coverage of an area. With a wired connection, if a cable terminates at one point, the only way to get that connection to another point is to go down the expensive route and run another cable in. So yeah, it's very much where it's installed, that's where the network is, until it expanded with more cables and Wi-Fi.
You mentioned something a little while ago. What the hell is a hybrid?
A hybrid system.
You didn't mention that.
I mentioned mesh.
You mentioned mesh, but I see on the notes it says hybrid system.
Rightly
What
so.
is a mesh system?
So a mesh Wi-Fi system is basically, or I'd say basically, it's supposed to be a system where all of the access points talk to all of their nearest neighbors to create a blanket of Wi-Fi. Realistically, that's not quite how it works. That's just the image that marketing departments from all manufacturers are trying to create an image of in people's heads. But really, what it means is a multi-hop point-to-point wireless system. So you need one wired base hub, if you like, and then that sends a wireless signal onto the next point and the next point and the next point, etc. And by that way it creates this mesh system because they're all wirelessly talking to each other, and then your device, be it phone, tablet, whatever, can jump onto any one of those access points, and if its message gets relayed back to the main wired, your internet provider hub or router, whatever, to obviously give you an internet connection. So a hybrid system is the combination of one of these mesh systems with multiple point-to-point wireless access points and having several wired points in between. So each wired point basically becomes like a base station for all of the wireless points around it, speeding up the time taken for messages to get to and fro the internet and your device.
But these mesh systems, they're not just restricted to Wi-Fi systems, are they?
So that's a Zigbee mesh.
Let's not talk about Zigbee mesh.
But just to quickly cover it, the Zigbee mesh is
Don't say it.
not something you can use anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Here's another idea. What if I have a barn and there's no network out there and there's no way to get a wire out there, but it's like, I don't know, a kilometre away?
So that's where point-to-point wireless systems come in. So a point-to-point wireless system is basically two access points that you point at each other, and they just send a wireless signal, a highly concentrated wireless signal between each other. Some of them are so fast that they are actually outperforming traditional cabled links. We've yet to properly experiment with them, so I suppose we'll leave point-to-point systems there for now, for today.
Speaking of speed, fibre. We have to mention fibre when we're talking about wired systems.
Yeah, definitely, because for now, the fibre itself is actually very cheap at the moment. It's coming down in price still. It's just the equipment on the end of it to convert to Ethernet to make it usable by current devices. That's still a bit expensive, but the way I see it in the future is every house is going to have a fiber backbone and then Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E as the main network. There won't be that many plug-in Ethernet points around the house. There just won't be the need for it, because once Wi-Fi 6 is fully working and it's how it's designed, it should outperform current Ethernet standards.
So what you're saying is, if I'm renovating my house and I'm rewiring it, throw some fibre in everywhere, regardless of whether I'm planning on using it in the immediate future, get it in, because it's coming.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up for wired and wireless, or wired versus wireless. Hopefully you've got more of an understanding of what wireless and wireless...
Pros and cons of both.
Yeah. What wireless systems and what wired systems are available, and pros and cons. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back in the next video, which is on the letter...
Well, the last three letters of the alphabet, X, Y and Z, which there's not really much that is covered by those, with the exception of the aforementioned Zigbee. So chances are the next video will be the last video for this series.
Yeah, it's possible.
But we still have to think of something for X and Y. So
we'll think of something.
We'll leave it there for now. Catch you then.
Bye.
Bye.